Williamson, with all the drama he's had in New Orleans, with the tweets from his mistresses and all that. Zion has been rumored to the Pistons. I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. I've seen some trade, packages that have been proposed. So I'll start with Mateo. What do you think? I was seeing like 5, the Pistons would trade like 5, Bojan Bogdanovic and Isaiah Stewart, and in return they get Zion. What do you think about the Pistons potentially going after Zion?
I mean, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is, what are we going to do with the front court? We already have a very loaded front court. So it'd be very interesting to throw Zion into that mix. And obviously in that trade, then you would consider possibly trading one or more of our current guys away. So I think that would have to be something that's considered, especially considering, he's a ball dominant player. He's a scorer. It's not like he's going to be a guy who we would trade for him to be out on the wing or just a primary defender. He'd be the main focus of our offense. So obviously if we were able to acquire Zion without giving up Cade or Ivy or Duren, I think I wouldn't be opposed to it, is what I'll say now, because we're at a point where we don't necessarily need to keep building assets for the future. We can start working on winning now. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I've seen a bunch of different trade packages. I don't totally know exactly where his value's at right now, but I wouldn't be opposed to it if the price isn't too crazy.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
I agree with Teo. If I had the chance to trade number 5, Bogdanovic and Beef Stew, I'd do it all day long. I think the Pistons are in a really good position right now, actually. And I agree too. I wouldn't want to give up Cade, Ivy, or Duren in that order, like Cade, Ivy, Duren, but I'd like to keep those 3 together. If you can add Zion to that trio, pretty much whatever the cost, I would probably go with it, because just that foursome right there, if they're all locked into contracts or likely to re-sign, because you'll have the cap space when their rookie contract ends, and you can keep that unit together for 5-6 years. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. And if you lose, if they don't, I'd rather lose with that team, because you really can't fault Troy Weaver at that point for having assembled that team. It's off topic a little bit, but Tom Gore is signing, just breaking the bank to sign the coach. It really seems like, again, I think they're in a good position. So what they do will be interesting. But yeah, I absolutely would agree to that deal.
Yeah, I saw like a 3-team trade where I think it was involving Charlotte, where I don't know. Basically, New Orleans would end up with the 2nd pick so they could draft Scoot Henderson. Charlotte would end up with 5, I think. Just like a 3-team trade. But I don't know. I think with Zion, my question would be, would he even want to be here? Obviously he's still going to be getting paid, but I think we want guys that want to be in Detroit. Cade and Jaden Ivey, they made that known that they want to be here. They want to win here. We don't know if Zion's going to feel that same way. And then also you just have to address the injury concerns, which not being able to stay healthy. I did hear something about his contract where, it's not guaranteed. So if he does stay injured, the Pistons maybe aren't going to have to pay as much, but that's another concern with me. And then, I would even question the fit as well, just with, how good of a shooter is he really going to be? Is he going to be able to play off of Cade and Ivy that well? Obviously Zion's going to need the ball. Those 2 guards are going to need the ball. I don't know. I'm leaning towards keeping the 5th pick, but it is really intriguing to think, you have that, Cade, Ivy, Zion, and Duren, and you keep all your future first-round picks. That is very intriguing, but I don't know. Am I just missing something here, or do you guys think the fit would be good and the Pistons could go somewhere with that core?
Honestly, I don't know. It's Zion, and like you said, with the injury concerns, we don't totally know what a full season of Zion really looks like. We don't know what playoffs Zion looks like, if that can become a thing, So he is going to have to get healthy, especially if he's someone that we would want to consider longer term. We need guys who are going to play for us. We've already had a lot of injury concerns, and we don't want to keep going with that. We want to get guys who are going to play. So that's definitely something to consider. And then also to your point about him wanting to play there, I agree with that, because he seems like the type of guy, especially number 1 overall pick, who would want to go to a bigger market. That just makes sense, right? And he already got drafted into New Orleans, which isn't the best scenario to get drafted number 1 overall to. And with the, reports that he's not having a great time there, he's not getting along necessarily with the camp, whatever. it would make sense, in my opinion, for him to want to go to a bigger market and not a team like Detroit. And I kind of agree that at this point, we also want to make sure we're getting guys who want to play and want to compete for Detroit. So that's also an important factor. But either way, I think there's a lot to consider. So